Here you go. GrindSky Esports on the right, Lilgun on the left. Two scary Southeast Asian teams. They need some work on their poses, their battle poses.
Oh, here we go.
There we go, yeah.
You asked for it and they deliver.
Oh, beautiful stuff. Loving the contemplative look there.
I spoke about the mindset. That's one way to get the winner's mindset.
Yes. I mean, I bet when you talk, Dota being a brainy game, he's got the right idea. None of the muscles or anything shown, as we'll see these players coming out one by one.
The classic, shut the hell up, you know, it's, I'm not gonna say a word, my gameplay, my mouse clicks are gonna do it for me.
What would be your go-to pose? This is you.
I don't know, I don't remember, it was so long ago, probably something cringe.
Across the arms. Oh. Lilgun, a lot of players who have
come back here. He's like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
We got the heart, we got the love. You know, they've got the brain, the love. They're trying to assemble Captain Planet here.
Captain Planet, it's something I haven't heard in like 20 years, Parker. Thanks for taking me back. And the classic, the fist.
That's Earth right there. You know, we've got the full makings of a squad here. I mean, GrindSky Esports, a team we don't know a whole lot about. There was one name, I know Join Fire was talking to him. He said they're this very young new team. Aris, they're one of their support players, the only guy with competitive experience.
Yeah, he did play for Signal, pretty much the only one with the competitive experience. But yeah, gonna be a difficult task taking on Lilgun, Tour 2, and then in Tour 3, finally managing to qualify to Division 1.
Yeah, they're just a very solid, stable team I've always felt. I mean, I think there were some expectations towards the start of the year that, you know, they would advance to Division 1 and maybe get some upsets. Every now and then, they played all the BTS Pro Series tournaments, and they would actually take games against top teams. They're a team that's very good at beating the teams they're supposed to beat, but then they sometimes struggle to, like, break through that wall to really become a top team.
It's consistency. Like, you need to go through this meat grinder pretty much, play for a year or two, figure out your highs, lows, and to be able to experience both of those, you know, and just
we're getting the true comps here from the players.
Yeah, I was wondering what that is. And
I don't think. And how's your Mongolian?
Not really good. Not good.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing to note when it comes to Lilgun. They've stuck together.
We're definitely in for a treat. I'm hoping this is some kind of a 4 or 5 arc warden to see what the hero can do.
That would definitely add an extra layer of spice here.
You know what this is? This is like, I need to do my cavern. I can't play it. I'll buy pipe mech, whatever, on my hero. You guys win the game.
Yeah. Maybe he already did that in some pubs and was like, hey, this is actually pretty good. Well, here we go. It's time to get things underway for the Predator League 2022 Grand Finals. Day 1, Match 3 has begun. It is Lilgun versus GrindSky. We are going to get ourselves into the game. Both teams making their moves early on to get out of the map. Lilgun smoking up. GrindSky just playing things cautiously on their side. Curious to see any inclination as to what this Arc Warden is going to be.
I saw starting items. I saw Circlet and Slippers of Agility. Maybe Lewis is a tiny player, so they will swap things around.
Okay.
But yeah, looking at where Tiny's standing right now on the minimap, that tells me that's a mid-Tiny.
Yeah. So he's got a Sentry Ward. I mean, he's not a core buying sentries. This is
4, I would say.
Yep.
But still wants to be able to pump in some right clicks.
Every 4 stream. Oh, I get to carry a bit too. The Yapsor special. Come on up.
I did mention that this is a greedy draft from them without knowing this Arc Warden's position 4. What do you call this? It's extremely greedy.
Well, maybe, or you could say it's the opposite, you know? If you're doing Arc Warden core with Jug Cord's greedy, but you make the Arc Warden support and it's less greedy. Because you're saying we don't care about Arc Warden getting farmed. They're going to have a mid lane who can create some space now with the, you're trying to get that fast.
But the Arc Warden 4 counts as like 1.5 times being greedy if he was coming out from the mid lane. So Lewis will be playing that Tiny. Sanctity on Ember Spirit.
Yeah, definitely mid matchup that's been seen a bit in the past, but very curious how this top lane is going to go.
I would say they win this top lane.
With the Arc Warden?
On side of GrindSky. Yeah, Arc Warden plus Dawnbreaker.
Okay. What do you think is the idea behind this support Arc Warden in lane and just in the game in general?
I can lie. I can try to make something up right now, Parker, but I don't think it would sound smart. Maybe they try to bait them a bit. Tiny dropping very low on this mid lane.
Yeah, something he's going to be a little bit careful about, but Ember at those low levels, just using that slide spam, punishing the Tiny with his low arm. You can see there, yep, Slider Fist. And
Tiny really struggling. He was 2-2 after 2 creep waves, now sitting at 5, getting enough money for bottle after this creep, and that's going to give him some extra regeneration. Trying to man up against this Ember Spirit, but as you said, like early levels on Ember, Tiny sitting at 0 armor does hurt quite a lot.
Apollo is going to be giving me nightmares with his Eek spam. Scream straight out of mine, but here we go. Down bottom is the Mirana. 4 position Mirana. This is more the classic Mirana. None of that 5 position.
None of that 5 that we've seen at PI. Problem with this top lane is Monkey King can't really man up against the Dawnbreaker. He tries to get some right clicks in and also having Jingu level 1. Yeah, this is what
he went on them. Monkey King was the aggressor and he just died.
Having a bit of a bad read on a situation because Dawnbreaker will gladly take those fights. Maybe when Monkey is 3, when he has 2 points in Jingu, but before that, it makes things very difficult for Monkey.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool idea with the Arc Warden where it's like, okay, you've got 2 Jingu on me, I'm just going to put this Spark Wraith on. You can keep hitting me, but this Spark Wraith is going to nuke you, so. Early levels, Jingu, not the strongest when it comes to the lifesteal that you can just man up constantly. Mid lane, Tiny and Ember. Tiny doing, despite that rough start in terms of getting CS and getting harassed a lot.
He's catching up. Ember has more. What he doesn't. I thought he has more denies, but Tiny, yeah, did manage to get the bottle, get that region up and running, picked up the water rune in the bottle, and did manage to salvage his own lane.
Yep. As far as this bottom lane, Sand King Mirana. You're an old school player. This is a lane that should be close to your heart.
Yeah, but against the Juggernaut makes things very difficult if you don't time it right, and also Silencer getting this double Arcane Curse on him, making very difficult to initiate, get stuff going. But I think they're fine with just trading farm here, Sanking at 22 CS. Against the Juggernaut 22, so he's doing pretty good. Mirana about to pick up Water Rune, stealing it from Tiny. This is what you need to do. Try to slow down Tiny. He's their playmaker.
They get the Ink Spell stun here. Arc Warden could be in some trouble here. He's going to follow it up, and the 3 stacks for now with another slow coming out from the stroke. Look like Apollo should be going down here. One more right click does get picked off here. Zornberg getting a bit of a free lane for the time being, but a nice kill nonetheless.
This war should be easy to win.
He did lose a lot. He took him 25-30 seconds to get that kill. I'm not sure that's worth it.
Not a clear win by any means. Head back to that mid lane where Tiny, continue sexy, dude. Are you okay here? Despite playing on that low armor, Tiny is just with the bottle, and despite having runes kind of kept away from him, Lewis has managed to hold his own against Sanctity, kind of the star player of this Lilgun team.
Lewis did invade enemy outpost, pick up that bounty, so that's where he's getting his region from.
Yeah, you need it against the slide spam, especially now Level 3 slide with the Blightstone, it just adds up a lot. I imagine he's going to go for the full Orb of Corrosion as well.
It's such a good item. To be able to like land it on multiple people with your slide does give Ember so much more kill threat.
Especially early, like support, you get hit by a slide and it's like a third of your health with a level 4 slide. Just gonna be a little bit careful. A potential level 6 being reached could create a kill opening for the Ember Spirit here, but 6 minutes approaching and both teams likely gonna be eyeing off those power runes, particularly in a matchup with a Tiny versus Ember.
Under attack.
Tiny wants it. Tiny wants a haste rune, arcane rune to be able to gank the side lane. Tiny with the arcane rune, one of the deadliest combos. Like you go to the side lane, you know that you're getting your combo off 2 times. Apollo picking up Invis on this position for Arcor. Yeah, you heard it correctly.
We'll secure the bounty rune refill for the Tiny. That was definitely well done by GrindSky. You know, they made sure they got the rune no matter where it spawned. Of course, they would have wanted the Tiny to get that power rune, but they made sure Ember did not get a chance to refill.
A bit of a slower start, the 1-1, 6 minutes into the game. Felt like both teams expected to do more from the laning stage in terms of aggression, especially Mirana plus Sanking. Mirana, one of those heroes as a support, if you don't get much done early on, like your mid game is gonna really suffer because you want to be active. Good thing about this game is you have a Sanking who's doing extremely well, 46 CS at the moment, which means that his Blink Dagger is going to come in early, and then you always have a hero to play with. Same goes for Ember Spirit. Doesn't need items, just needs points.
Got the Monkey King down low with the hammer initiation, but not enough follow-up damage.
When I said points, I meant points in your queue on Ember to be able to set up for the arrow.
Yep. Down bottom though, there's going to be a kill going away. Lilgun as they bring down the Juggernaut. The return kill from Lewis though is going to even things up with the Sand King being brought down, but good find for Lilgun. They have the Ember just with a free lane in mid with the Tiny rotation. It's
a lot of damage on this tier 1 tower. Blightstone really putting up some work. Arc Warden's going to be there, but yeah, this is not a mid Arc Warden, so needs to be a bit more careful. Another slide gonna cut him down to half HP and needs to fall back.
Yep. And with the Arc Warden leaving this top lane, it means Lilgun recognized weakness, and it's a Dawnbreaker who's being left alone, tries to hammer out of there, and it looks like JWL will get back to safety, but no farm, no creeps for you.
Middle tower is under
Good
attack.
punish coming in. Looks like mid lane Arc Warden getting very low as well, and yeah, we'll get chased and brought down.
It's a freebie for Ember.
I think that was just fighting over the rune. Trying to keep that power rune out of the Ember's hands, although it did end up spawning bottom for the Tiny, so.
That's Tiny's way of going back into the game and also potentially putting in some tower pressure. A bit low on mana though.
See what he looks to do with his DD. He's just going to pop it now for the heals. Maybe feeling like he can't make a whole lot of plays with a DD. It's not the haste rune one. Slash down bottom, huh?
Dyer's top
Really
tower.
Maybe we should have not caught that on camera.
Yeah.
Burrow Strike was still available. So even if you get the Omni, like you know that he's gonna get away from Blade Fury. Yeah, 4-2-3, getting a kill on Dawnbreaker. That's pretty big.
His Dawnbreaker's just been left alone largely, which has definitely made it a lane that Lilgun can exploit.
I remember stats during DPC. It's a European DPC because I worked it. But Monkey King with Hand of Midas at one point was 8 out of 8 games that he lost. So whenever you buy this item, you pretty much lose the game. It's stuck in my head. I think this game could be a bit different. He wants to be able to scale, get to like tank up. Monkey King's stats gain is pretty decent. Also getting to his level 15, level 20 talent faster. He just wants to be able to farm up his, maybe also thinking about, you know, we don't have enough tower damage anyway, so I'm gonna build up for more of a mid/late game oriented build.
Nice Jingu with the Boundless Strike, barely keeps him alive, but he is still gonna go down with the Tiny TP in. A big kill on the enemy carry going GrindSky's way.
Radiant's middle tower.
He made a lot of resources to that top lane in order to get it, but Still holding this mid tier 1 tower, even if just barely, and very low.
Now GrindSky can play aggressively on the other side of the map because Dawnbreaker just got her ulti up, and also Silencer needs level 6 to follow things up with the global silence. You did mention it during the draft that once that Dawnbreaker ulti is available, once there's a global, Lilgun, they're gonna need to be a bit more careful how they approach their ganks. They either need to blink Epi into stun, because that way, like from the fog, you don't see it coming, and it's already too late to use global. So maybe try to go up with Dawnbreaker. They have ways of surprising.
Yep, I mean, absolutely. And there are long cooldowns you can play around as well.
Yes.
Especially if you can force it out and not get punished for it. Like, okay, maybe you don't kill somebody, but as long as you disengage, suddenly you're playing around like 2 minutes without that spell. Like down bottom, they're gonna go on the Juggernaut, bring down Akashi. That's a nice find for Lilgun, who can quickly turn that into a tier 1 bottom tower as well. Sanctity is alone in this mid lane. They're looking for the punish on him, but it's an Ember. There's not really potential to catch or bring him down.
Radiant's bottom
Arc
tower
Warden
has
4
fallen.
using a clone, not getting that Hand of Midas off. Feels kind of awkward, not gonna lie.
Just clone for the...
A gank.
You get the double shovel, right?
Yeah, alright, that's it.
A tool to teach.
Mid lane now, Sanking coming on in. Here comes the Epicenter. You mentioned it, you got to use it first, and with the Inkswell as well, you can't really counterplay this one entirely, but the Dawnbreaker ultimate keeps Tiny alive. One more stroke of fate will help bring him down here as the chase is
Ember
on.
wants to clean up.
Yep. 1 or 2 more slides here should get the job done. They do get barely away with the Silencer, but Breaker not so lucky. Sanctity still chasing Grims here. He's just all in. Sanctity will Remnant away from the Omni side, but he's bitten off more than he can chew. The Blade Fury will bring him down before any kind of a TP out can be successful.
A bit too deep from Ember Spirit. He wanted that Silencer so badly. They did surprise Tiny in the end. They did manage to kill it the way we talked about it. The Epicenter with the blink into a stun, but still very tanky. Dawnbreaker ulti keeping him alive a little bit longer there. So pretty, I would say pretty even trade overall. Slightly Lilgun favored.
I mean, it could have been just fine for Lilgun if Ember just didn't, you know.
Yeah, that was like...
For a support, it's like it's a Silencer. You just let him go.
If he stole his intelligence, you want to kill him, steal that in back.
Wanting to get some of that
Radiant
revenge.
are scanning.
Well, see what Lilgun continue to play it with their aggressive ways. You're going to imagine with their draft that
Dire's
that's
top
the idea
tower
they have
is
in
under
mind,
attack.
Sanking with such a fast Blink Dagger. And, you know, this is, I think, bread and butter for Lilgun. You know, get the fast Blink Dagger or initiation to go with a Grimstroke and then just run around with that Inkswell, trying to make those plays happen. But on the
You
other
don't
side,
have cooldown. I don't think you care too much about Wukong's and then Grimstroke ulti. The big one is Epicenter, but you're still going to be able to take these fights.
Tiny's Blink Dagger gets the counterplay onto the Sanking, and they're going to punish the aggression from Sanking. Still keeping this hero mid alive. It's not just the Blink on Sanking that's up, it's Lewis's Tiny having Blink as well now.
Well, Lewis is Tiny in the middle of the pack in terms of network, but he's getting the job done. He's going in, soaking up some of the damage, because both Dawnbreaker and Jug can carry the game for him, so he doesn't necessarily need to be there going for these late game items. Getting up that Blink Dagger first, arrow is gonna miss.
Nicely followed there by the Observer as we'll see a much more even game. You know, after the stomp in the opening game, I'm glad that we're getting something here that still feels like it can swing either way. Sanctity caught by surprise. I believe that was, the Tiny Blink once again coming in, and that gives Silence on level 6 now as well, so all of a sudden you've got to be very careful if you're...
And that was the Arcane rune, so he might still get a couple of combos off. You see this Tiny with Arcane rune, you run, because his combo is maxed out. Pretty difficult to kill. With the follow-up of the Global Silence, he's going to be able to get his combo 3 times in a fight. That means 3 kills, pretty much.
Zero interest in fighting that. Lilgun's just like, yep, peace out. We're done with this. As they are gathering around this mid lane.
It's going to be Smoke or Mirana ulti.
You got to imagine. I mean, they've got Sanking Blink. They should be wanting to fight here, but they're fighting into Radiant Vision around this cliff. Smoke gonna pop. Sanky's got to be careful. Gets the slider fist off. Jug is in full retreat, but the supports in the backline getting jumped here. The global silence with the Dawnbreaker ultimate follow-up, and the chase is on here. They get everybody low. They don't quite finish him off, and Dawnbreaker can't get in there. Kishka ticking down low, but
Lewis ready to go in one more time.
Where's the next combo? He wants the Ember, and Ember just remnants into him. Goes down to the tiny toss combo, and a great find for GrindSky. Although it is just the one kill, it's a big kill.
It is. It's a lot of a commitment. They did use Dawnbreaker ulti, global silence, but Lewis having a really nice read where Ember is gonna go. They do have good vision in the enemy jungle. This ward got pinged out, so most likely the one on the hill is gonna get de-warded.
Stuck around a bit too long in the top lane. JWO was alone, but yeah, Radiant Vision, you see there on the mini-map, just triple observer wards in the Dire jungle. Got a very clear idea of where and how they want to play. And they're not done finding these kills around the wards, they find another.
Very important that they control the runes for this Tiny. He did have Arcane Rune, and now the Haste Rune. Still wants to be able to take another fight, another pick off Apollo. Scouting things out.
Lilgun just being put on the back foot, which is something their draft was not really hoping to do here.
And again!
Yep. Pull up. Not quite enough damage here. With the ticking damage over time, Senki goes down. Yeah, the Grims' silencer finished him off, and things going from bad to worse here for Lilgun. The at least slight favorites come into this one, and they are getting outgunned.
Tiny is all over the place. He's been heavily involved, 8 out of 10 kills. Had a bit of a rough start first couple of levels, but did manage to come back into the game. This is a big pickup. Mirana getting the Lotus Orb against all of their, against Arc Warden, against the Juggernaut ulti, against the Global Silence. It's the best pickup at this point, and it's a pretty fast one. It's 17 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nice having this, but you can kind of see like some of the maybe downside of the Mirana is that this hero's just been farming a lot. Sank in the mid lane getting jumped, does have the defensive Yules, and now with the Grimstroke ulti finding Arc Warden and Silence together, but there's no real follow-up for this one. Instead, it's just Sanky getting spun on down with Kishka in full retreat, leaps to the high ground. Has got 4-2-3 here. The Monkey King with the ultimate, going to drop the Wukong on Silence's head. Grims almost got away from it, but the TP out. Is there a stun on the Monkey? No. So they'll lose 2 in the end, only killing a Silencer.
That was so close. Arc Warden sent his clone in Wukong's to block the damage from Monkey, but the Monkey actually hit Silencer in the end. Global was available, but still another good trade for the Radiant team, being able to lose Silencer, kill offlaner, and kill position 4.
Feels like, you know, this Sanky just isn't really had such a good laning stage, but since then hasn't really delivered. Akashi's Jug just comes on in the enemy jungle, steals some farm, fights over some of these ancient. Will get pushed away a little bit, but it's to the south where the action's happening. They've already taken out the Mirana. As the return kill and the Dawnbreaker is being attempted here. Lilgun really need this one, but with the BKB, Dawnbreaker is going to be A-OK. Gets him out of there with ease.
First usage of the BKB, you want to get something more out of that. But still, let's see if they're chasing. That's Arc Warden. It seems like they're going to bail.
Yeah.
Unless Lewis gets an opening.
He turns it around. Keeps Apollo alive for a little bit longer. But they'd love to kill the Ember here, but not sure they're going to be able to get that one, but not with the triple Fire Remnant still active. Sancti getting pretty low, though, so he can't really re-engage. And
I think Silencer picked up Shard, because I believe I saw +4. Not the usual position 5 item. It's about crippling the enemies. Like, some of these heroes don't have big mana pool. Like Ember, Mirana does have mana boot / Lotus Orb. Sanking also does have mana boot, so they're okay. But yeah, Monkey Grimstroke, they do tend to struggle, especially if it starts to add up. We didn't mention that Lewis has this Fairy Trinket, which did allow him to burst his targets multiple times, especially Ember, who does have this Flame Shield and yeah, reducing the magical damage.
Lost around this mid lane, they're doing such a good job fighting and playing around their vision. Breaker ultimate up top, Akashi. He goes down, though. That's a big find for Lilgun, who may get a freebie +1 here. The Yule Scepter stopping the Dawnbreaker's escape. JWL will get burrowed up. Here comes the cavalry, though. They're looking to kind of turn this one around with the Dawnbreaker BKB, and Lewis's Blink initiation, but the damage isn't enough to burst anyone down. Instead, JWL going to BKB TP out of there and leaves Lewis behind. That's the big Tiny. It's not the most farmed hero, but it's the key playmaker for the team. So, Lilgun, it all started with a nice pickup on the Jug, and they turn it into something more.
Lost vision. They didn't have any sentry wards continue to chase them down. But Juggernaut's getting a bit too greedy, I would say. A couple of deaths already starting to add up, even though he's on top of the net ward. Oh, thankfully jumping in. We'll be able to get him.
Yeah, an arcane rune of his own. Doesn't have any fire runes left, but there's no chase from GrindSky.
This is gonna help Akashi survive, having a bit of a status resistance. SNY completed, gonna give him more tankiness. So you need to be careful how to execute this Burrow Strike into arrow combo. You need to use it earlier, which could give him enough chance to spin and also use the healing ward or TP out. Once they use their abilities, there's nothing that goes through magic immunity to stop him from TPing.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
See what the next two moves are going to be. It's currently Lilgun with a slight 2k gold lead, but you can see it's actually GrindSky, the win probability in their favor. Dota Plus loving this support Arc Warden, apparently.
I thought you were going to say Silencer, picking up the Shard. Being
That too.
extra smart.
Yeah. What's more bizarre, the support Arc Warden or the Silencer Shard?
I'd say Arc Warden. Silencer Shard is okay, especially if these like greedier position 5s are playing it. You know that they're gonna be aiming for it. Not as a first item, but still, Arc Warden 4. Haven't seen too much of Arc Warden in terms of items.
I mean, he's only seeing on 4k net worth, so can't have a whole lot at this point.
Double Midas, that's 4,000 gold.
Yeah, that 4,000 will quickly turn into something a bit more than 4,000 if he has the Midas. Dire side, I mean, when you look at supports with farm, this Mirana has been given a lot of freedom to just hit some creeps.
That's a lot of arrows. Arrow accuracy, 100% on creeps.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong if you're hitting arrows. We'll see how this game progresses. It does feel like there's a lot of like kind of magic damage that doesn't address BKBs all that well on this Dire side. The Dawnbreaker's had BKB for some time though, so haven't had too many issues dealing with it. There you go, GrindSky making their way across the map. There's your Aqua Knight. Arcane Boots into Aghanim Scepter is the build.
2 dusts, a Wraith Band. If you ask me which hero this was, I would answer Arc Warden last. I'm not even kidding.
The Wraith Band makes it hard. I would be like, oh, Disruptor or something. I don't know, but yeah, the Wraith. Which Agi hero is getting these items? Some off laner. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a bizarre one. Well, no success with the smoke. They make their way all the way across the map. They've got good vision with the Observer wards, but their moves are kind of being mirrored by the Lilgun side, who have managed to avoid detection for now. They're going to move that Shadow up with the smoke, look for a jump around this mid lane, but creep wave pushing in will be a bit of a telling sign that something is amiss. The Burrow Strike, they caught wind. Soulbind 2 together. The Global Silence is going to stop the initiation and the kind of spells being used in tandem, as Sanctity are going to be forced maybe just to go charging forward with the BKB. He needs to get out if he wants his BKB wears off, but he's going to get maybe a couple of kills on his way out. He wants to finish one more. He gets the Remnant kill and gets out of there. Gets back to the safety of his triangle with a 2-for-2 trade. Buyback coming in from the Grimstroke. Sakashi's playthrough going to be wearing off soon.
He's getting in again.
Round 2. Gets another kill. This one onto Kishka's Mirana, and it's a 3rd kill going the way of GrindSky, who win this fight.
The Lilgun popping their BKBs, trying to get stuff done after the Global Silence. They do have a Dispel as well coming up from the Grimstroke Shard, but not enough. Like being able to just having these 3 cores, which are super tanky. We're talking about Dawnbreaker, Tiny, a lot of strength gain, and then Juggernaut building into a bit more tankier option, going for the status resistance, SNY pickup. They're pretty hard to take down. If you don't use epicenter, like you're not gonna be able to lock them. And if they're like, if you land some godly 5-second arrow, there's gonna be a global silence. So not that easy for Lilgun to take these fights.
Damage just lacking a bit there, maybe until this monkey gets a bit more farmers. Grimstroke.
Another -4.
Yeah.
Sitting at 26 right now. And yeah, that's Power Tread's shard on your position 5. Understanding that without Grimstroke, who just bought back, the next fight, if Lilgun decides to take, is going to be 4 versus 5.
Silence are bringing the idea of so smart to the next level with his build and
Big brain.
they're going to finish off Roche uncontested, all off of that one little pick-off here. And this game really feels like GrindSky has a lot of control over how things are kind of developing here and playing around all this magic immunity with the Blade Fury as well as the BKB on Dawnbreaker, just really limiting the damage that Lilgun can do in a team fight.
Still behind in terms of the net worth, but I feel like they do have this.
Epicenter, Blink Barrow, he used the Blade Fury, the arrow going to barely clip him on the side there, but the Dawnbreaker heal is going to keep him alive, and now they can turn this one. Jug had an Aegis anyway, so they're just trying to take the Aegis for free, but they may get punished here. 11 will get back to the trees.
Did that arrow miss?
I think it looked like it clipped him on the side.
Clipped him? Okay.
I don't know for sure. It was...
I think it clipped him, but still, like, the status resistance coming in
Yeah.
clutch and also good Dawnbreaker ulti. It was a nice attempt from Lilgun, understanding, but sometimes, you know, you skip the class like we did. We didn't do that homework that you mentioned, so not enough. Just barely. Even if they get that kill, lose 1, it's still worth it for Lilgun, because they would have taken out the siege potential that we're gonna see coming out
yeah.
from the Philippines team. And yeah.
Killing an Aegis when it's got like 4+ minutes on it feels so nice sometimes. But also to be, they're just lacking that bit of damage here. 2k health on Jug, and it's always been one of the issues with Sanking. I feel like Epicenter just as a spell doesn't do enough damage to kill people. Like, you need that backup. And
those pulses need to be faster, or we need to have damage numbers pumped up. Those are some rookie numbers.
Absolutely. Well, Apollo lose a clone down bottom as Lilgun are going to try to take this tier 2 tower, but here comes, looks like Juggernaut. To defend this one, and they'll succeed in doing so.
Still 3 minutes left on that Aegis. Juggernaut becoming more and more tanky. Also, same goes for Lewis. He does have that BKB, did disassemble his Echo Saber. You have Dawnbreaker with Shard, which means that she's going to have like pretty much 3 BKBs. Those 2 are going to be the shorter ones, but still very, very difficult to kill this hero. Almost unburstable. And she's dead. Caster's Curse coming through.
Give it a sec. Yep, she's charging forward into an Ember. But no, it's Ember who's going to be forced to get the hell out of there. This feels like Lilgun can't really take too many fights here. I feel like after last time, they're not going to go in Akashi.
Akashi noticed him because he was using spin with the Maelstrom shard and did bounce on Monkey King, so he knew he was there exactly, but no Quelling Blade.
Almost completed Scotty now. He's blinking his way around the map. Tiny charging top. Looks like we'll find Sanking here. And yeah, they're going to finish off that Sanking with the Dawnbreaker ultimating in as well, but it's mid lane where Akashi, once again, trying to go on this Aegis Jug. They know there's no Dawnbreaker ultimate, but I don't think it really matters, as Akashi's an absolute beast here. Still has an Omniscience to play around too, and he'll use that. Oh, no, he won't get the kill with the Glimmer Cape. Ace 12 gets out of there, and now they're going to lose this Aegis, it looks like, with the Wukong being dropped as well. Jug is going to be respawning into the middle of this one. Arc Warden trying to bail him out here, but with the Blade Fury, Akashi should be A-okay. As the Global Silence to cover the retreat, as well as Lewis gets a toss in. 4-2-3 goes down. That's your carry dropping, and Sanctity.
Oh, gets another one, and they're not done. They want to chase.
He has a BKB just to try and bail himself out, but instead it's going to be Sanctity charging forward. Will be forced to Remnant out of there as a 3-for-1 trade ends up coming the way of GrindSky. What a fight for them.
And finally, GrindSky has that net worth advantage. What a fight, as you mentioned, being able to take down Sanking, which is most of their damage. Like Ember Spirit's doing quite a lot because with the BKB slide, of course, he's gonna be. But without Sanking, their damage output is pretty limited. And also, Lewis being able to toss out Monkey King out of Wukong's command, that's always gonna be something that he's afraid of. Like heavily committing and then getting tossed. I also want to see if he picks up, like which level 20 talent he's gonna pick up.
Must be approaching that one pretty soon. But yeah, he's using that Aegis to great effect. I mean, Sanking getting picked off kind of alone in the top lane, and all of a sudden you had Lilgun thinking that they could take a fight mid, but wasn't to be. Got a very farm jug coming. He does use the Blade Fury. We've seen this one before where he uses Blade Fury and then they try and jump him. Are they going to make that play once again? Sanking pushing forward. Has got, looks like a smell for somebody. He'll find Apollo here. That'll be a quick and easy kill. They actually got the clone as well.
They got the clone. That was the shortest clone in the history of Dota, pretty much. Died immediately. The Caustic and the and the Sandstorm.
KO'd here is in the jungle. They're going to be looking for this silencer, trying to fight over a room by himself, getting a bit too big for his britches there. That's a couple of kills going Lilgun's ways after a bit of a shaky, phase of the game. The last 10 minutes have really been all GrindSky. This is at least a good sign of maybe that things are not in the worst place imaginable for them. This tier 2 bottom tower was very low as well. They'd love to finish that one off. Impossible.
Dire's middle tower
Dark Order on his back seems like they're gonna be defending it.
Tiny blinked in. It's gonna be backline, the Grimstroke getting jumped, and that's just a free kill for JWO, who's gonna bash him now as well. Kishka, he's trying to retreat into the Wukong. He's like, this is the only place I feel safe, but Monkey, he's trapped in this Wukong. He can't really get out of this one. Now Tiny's re-engaged, blinks right into the middle of it. He's not afraid of anything. They've killed a couple now with Silencer respawning. They've now got a global silence as well.
And one thing to note is Sanctity, it's 33 minutes into the game, he's still holding on to Tumbler Stowing. That item is just way too good. For a tier 1, that's a tier 2 item right there. Being able to reposition yourself, get off and away from the ganks on the cliffs, just too much value. JWL, he's all over the place, being able to not just solo kill supports in fights, but now starting to kill cores.
Yeah, with this Teso Basher, not many heroes can actually stand up and
Enchanted Quiver, the burst damage through the roof.
Serious damage, and with all these heroes dead, they're just going high ground. They're making a play for this base here. They're going to go blinking forward, take out the Grimstroke, and maybe get a little bit punished here by the Ember, but here's Dawnbreaker once again. Chain sending people up. Using that Basher here, but the double damage Juggernaut doing some big damage to the tier 3 tower here. Lewis, have a toss. That's a dead Mirana. They're just getting picked apart one by one. Lilgun not really coming up with a cohesive strategy to defend their base, and as a result, they're getting picked apart as they'll lose the tier 3 tower and perhaps even lane of Rax here.
I'm telling you, gods, this Monkey King with Hand of Midas, that's a curse right here.
It's 0-9 now, perhaps, if you include those.
I saw him winning one game, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop counting, but still, it's gonna be stuck in my mind. And suddenly, 11k gold lead.
Yeah.
Therefore, GrindSky.
This game just...
Roshan, let's see if he's gonna spawn immediately. Smoke from Lilgun. They want to make something happen. It's gonna be a minute until the next Roshan spawns.
It doesn't really feel like their draft can scale that well, at least not outscale.
Now, Mirana as for if you don't go for greedy items like Aghanims, Grimstroke as well. If you don't have Aghanim Scepter, you're not going to be able to scale. Sanking did fall off, didn't go for E-Blade early on. It's a lot of he does have Lens, Jolt Scepter. These are defensive items and the BKB on top of them, so there's just not enough burst damage. They caught Tiny.
No. Well, he's the one who jumped in, killed the Grimstroke, but he doesn't have the best escape plan except for the BKB, which is enough even in the Wukongs. He survived his way through. They've killed both supports now, and they're looking for more. They'll get the Monkey inside the Wukong. 3 dead, and the chase is on as Mirana barely leaps to the high ground, but Ember not so lucky. gets bursted down. He was trying to finish off Apollo there, but didn't have the tools to fight. And 4 dead, this could just be game
I
over.
think they're going to go for tier 4.
GG.
GG, they call it.
Yep, there's no way out. You hear the players on stage give out a nice little scream there. They're pretty happy. Yep, they're feeling themselves. That's a nice little upset here. They were
definitely. They were the underdogs in this matchup, and they get the W. Some really nice performance. Because they were playing from a network deficit throughout the whole game, but being able to utilize this tiny. Lewis, for me, MVP of this game.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of touching on it in the mid game. He was never that far, but it was just how much he got done once he got that Blink Dagger. He was, every single fight he was getting involved in.
He did slow down Ember Spirit because he caught him like 2 or 3 times in this position. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but this was a position for Arc Warden that just won the game, and the position 5 silencer with his first item shard.
Yeah, I mean, you could really feel the silencer's impact. Arc Warden, what do you feel like the 4 position Arc Warden brought to the table?
He was annoying. He was ganking out with his clone and also scouting things out. Difficult approach. It did have Morana ulti, so that's one way to not get seen, but still. You can tell. I think it's obvious that Lilgun are disappointed, losing to GrindSky, a team that is relatively unknown, but yeah, showing some strong and really good performance overall.
Yeah, that's the brutal best of ones.
Yes.
And not to mention, I mean, part of why they're disappointed there is also the form. It is double elimination. They're not out of the tournament, but suddenly they played 1 game and they're in the lower bracket. So that kind of sense of, okay, we can mess up once, is now gone. You've got to play perfectly from here. You've got a long road through that lower bracket. It's going to be tough for Lilgun to kind of bounce back after a loss like that, I feel.
Well, there's the highlights, and we've got the winners here. Team GrindSky up on the main stage. Congratulations, guys. It's a great game. Really fun to see some kind of new picks, new strategies, and also just a new team competing in Southeast Asia. Eris, you're one of the more veteran players on this team, so I've been told by your teammates to ask you all the questions, so we'll get them. Don't worry, we'll get some questions from them. But firstly, you played the Arc Warden. That's not a hero we normally see in the support role. What was kind of the idea behind that pick and playing as support?
I think we just want to abuse the spark rate because it deals high damage and it can reposition their position in the map. When you're spamming spark rate, it's hard to position. Yeah.
Cool. You guys are maybe one of the kind of dark horse teams at this tournament. Not many people are maybe as familiar with you. What are your expectations for your team competing here?
We're just focusing in our game.
Yeah, you agree with that?
Yeah.
You guys are a bit of maybe one of the younger, newer teams here. How do you feel like you're developing as a team?
Actually, we're very thrilled and excited because we want to show up that we can fight the type of teams that we can compete against the tier 1 teams.
Yeah. What was your preparation like coming into this tournament?
Oh, the preparation is crazy. Before we go in, we studied the teams that are participating in this tournament. And if there's something like after preparation, that's the ramen. Ramen and udon is the best.
Oh, I mean, we've loving the food here in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, outside the food, we've had some good Dota. I'm curious, I'll ask you since you're next to me, any team you're particularly looking forward to playing against while you're here?
SMG.
Why? And why? Any reason? Just because they're like the star players, or?
Yeah.
Great. And as far as I'll ask you once more. As far as your match today, obviously just 1 game so far. How do you feel like your team performed? Like, is this your? How close to your true potential did you reach?
Maybe we played that game 101%. So
Awesome. That's great to hear. Well, thank you so much, everybody. It was great to see you guys have such a big win over a proven team, Lilgun. We've got more Dota coming your way. We're going to see more of GrindSky later today as well. But the next match is going to be Team Chubby Boys against Yangon Galacticos, happening at 16:15 Japanese time. So stick around, everybody. And once again, congratulations, GrindSky. We'll have more Dota 2 coming your way. Stay tuned.